Hey, how's it going guys? Nate here with a Fallout 4 Settlement Mode discussion, and I'd like to talk about whether or not Bethesda should consider bringing Settlement Mode back into their next title, whether that be The Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5 or whatever they may do. So, without further ado, let's do further! In my own opinion, I feel as though Settlement Mode has been a net positive for Fallout 4. It added in more than it took away, which is important. However, where I find the most fault with Settlement Mode can really be traced back to Bethesda making some decisions that, well, certainly didn't ruin, but significantly hindered what was otherwise a really great mechanic. Bethesda was well aware that Settlement Mode was simply not for everybody. They knew that a significant portion of their audience just wouldn't find much appeal to it. So they were quick to promise that Settlement Mode would be completely optional. You wouldn't need to play it to complete quests, nor just to get the full Fallout 4 experience. You were going to be faced with no punishment for not playing Settlement Mode. Alas, this promise was certainly a stretch of the truth by Bethesda. For one, there are actually a few quests in which playing Settlement Mode is required to complete. This includes one of the first Minutemen quests over at the castle, as well as building a teleporter over to the Institute later on. Now, to be fair, neither of these quests were particularly demanding of you. You didn't have to do much in Settlement Mode. It didn't take more than a few minutes, so I can kind of excuse Bethesda for this one. However, what remains rather inexcusable is the fact that a significant investment in Settlement Mode is absolutely essential to get the full value of Fallout 4's DLC and Season Pass. 3 of Fallout 4's promised 6 DLCs are dictated entirely by Settlement Mode. And if you purchased the Season Pass before we knew all this information, before the details of the DLCs were all unveiled and we found out that half the DLC was settlement-oriented, mind you, we only found out the details of Fallout 4's last 3 DLC a bit more than a month ago, then you might feel a little bit cheated and have right to. To add to this, many of the assets made available by the settlement-focused DLCs appear to have been cut out of the vanilla game, or at very least purposely detached from, so that Bethesda could repackage it into DLC for what seems to be extra fluff. In the first Workshop DLC, we got access to dozens and dozens of new structures and furniture items. However, many of these were already available on the PC through the use of free mods or console commands. They were already assets available in the base vanilla game, but for whatever reason, Bethesda chose not to unlock them for settlement mode use unless the player made an extra purchase. Now, it should be noted that this particular DLC, Wasteland Workshop, had a lot more that wasn't available in the base game. Coliseum-esque battles capturing humans and creatures. Those were both unique to Fallout 4's first settlement DLC and its main advertising factors. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that Bethesda either cut or intentionally withheld assets from the vanilla game to sell alongside this DLC. And Wasteland Workshop wasn't the only DLC to do this, it's simply the best example. Other instances on a smaller scale are present through other settlement-focused DLC. Settlement Mode also suffers from enough problems already without DLC and quests to hold it back. Organization, for instance, is just an utter nightmare with everybody named Settler. There are clipping issues with, well, virtually everything, and there's certain other assets that appear to be being withheld right now for whatever reason. The whole mechanic just screams a sentiment of almost unfinished. So in its current state, in my own opinion, I personally wouldn't like to see Settlement Mode brought back for Bethesda's next title. Absolutely not. However, yes, there's another however, should Bethesda treat this as a learning experience and improve upon the mode, perhaps by addressing those clipping issues and content being withheld, and by not using settlements as a scapegoat to sell DLC, then yes, perhaps Settlement Mode would make an excellent addition to Bethesda's next endeavor, whatever that may be. And despite me being heavily critical of it in this video, the reason I still think Settlement Mode has been a net positive for Fallout 4 is because it did something different. It did something that so few RPGs have done before. They added the SimCity flavor in an open world RPG. And this means it's something actually new, something original. And while it may not be perfect now by any means, it's at least entertaining, and of course we can expect that some quirks and whatnot will be present because it's new, as there isn't really a precedent or an obvious approach for Bethesda to take with settlements, because no one else has ever tried it before. So the mistakes made, while not always completely excusable, for the most part can be expected. So yeah, I do think Settlement's got a shot at being something pretty brilliant in Bethesda's next game, so long as they learn from their mistakes and address them and play off the strengths and make something even better than what they've done before. And maybe through that, they can make it work in their next title, whether that be Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5, whatever they decide to do. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, dislike if you disliked, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Peace out, everybody.